Welcome to your de-stress to sleep better practice. Hi friends, I am Katie Arnold for your practice today. I am recommending or asking that you have at least one block. Now, if you don't have a block at home, please do not leave. Find something that you do have at home that could be a nice replacement. We are going to start our practice with a supported downward facing dog. This is really the most that you are going to need a block. If you don't have anything at home that you can use to replace a block, just take a downward facing dog. That would be fine. But otherwise, some replacements could be a stack of firmer pillows or a stack of blankets or towels or something like that that you can get to reach to where your forehead is. It could be nice to have a second block because I will offer some other opportunities in our practice that we could use them, but they're less important for that. We are going to meet in that downward facing dog. So we're going to take our block up on the highest height. You might have to make some adjustments here. Hands on each side of the block and in front of the block. Curl your toes under, let your hips go up and back just like you would for any other downward facing dog. Bring a bend to your knees and let your hips go high. We're going to bring the forehead, and it's really right about at the hairline where you're going to rest your head on the block. So big bend to your knees is really nice here. You could take a few moments and pedal out those feet if that feels supportive. And then let yourself settle in. So just like any other downward facing dog, heels are pulling down in the direction of your mat, but we're releasing a lot of tension by the bend in your knees, and then we're letting ourselves be supported here. So hands still pressing down. If you've never done a supported downward facing dog before, this can sometimes feel a little interesting, but I do really enjoy it once I can kind of like find the place. So once I kind of get to the point that I'm like, oh, okay, I don't really need to make a bunch of adjustments now and I can just settle in, it can be really nice. But it can sometimes take a little bit, especially if this is your first time that you've tried something like this. And so you might take a few gentle sighs out of an open mouth and just invite yourself to settle in here. And maybe each exhale breath even just helps us release any stress, any tension from the day. Maybe it helps us just create a little bit of space from whatever may have come before and whatever may be coming after. This practice today is meant to be really gentle. So this is really kind of the most work that we will be doing. So we're getting that out of the way early. And in this supported downward facing dog, I really even like to think about kind of any of the stress, any of those thoughts that might be brewing in the monkey mind, especially any that aren't serving me, just pouring out of my head. And so you might even kind of envision this block underneath your forehead as a container, like a box that is holding all of those thoughts, holding all of the to-do lists, all of the things that might get in the way, might prevent us from being able to relax, that might try to get in the way of our being able to sleep well later. We just envision all of that pouring out of our head and into this container, knowing that if there's things that are important, there's things that we need to address, that we need to take care of, we can come back to this container tomorrow. We can pick them back up tomorrow. We can deal with them tomorrow. We don't need to do it now. And so maybe that is a helpful visualization, helpful addition to this pose and this practice here. And then just a few more breaths, because
and talked long enough that hopefully it's helped bring a little bit of distraction to the work here. And so maybe a few more of those cleansing exhales, letting any of that stress enter the container. Do one more. Drop your knees down to the mat. Take them out nice and wide. I'm going to take my blocks now on the lowest height. And as I move into a child's pose, hips over heels, I'm going to bring my hands to my blocks. And so, again, if you don't have blocks, hands could come to pillows, or you could just move them out of the way and just stay in your traditional child's pose with hands down on the mat. We always have options here to make this practice work for us. So if this feels like too much on the shoulders, move those blocks out of the way. Make any adjustments that you need to. Well, you'll hear me make some suggestions for breath cues. For the most part, in our practice today, I am really just looking for you to settle into any kind of breath that feels effortless, natural. And so you don't have to focus on building any kind of breath here. Focus can be more on just being really present with yourself on your mat. A few more gentle breaths. And next inhale, you can start to pull yourself up and out of your child's pose. And we're going to come all the way down onto our bellies. So you can move the blocks out of the way. Make your way down onto your belly. Stack your hands. Let your forehead rest on stacked hands in our crocodile pose for a moment. And we're just going to bend that right knee. So the right heel comes in towards the glute. Take that right hand back. See if you can grab onto that right foot. You can also press yourself up a bit here if this is more accessible to you. You could always also grab a strap if grabbing the foot at all is not available. And if grabbing the foot is relatively easy, so you can see I can grab my foot pretty easily, you can always bring that heel in closer to the glute, maybe walk the hand a little bit further down the right leg. So grabbing onto the shin. And to release this foot, try not to slingshot it all the way down back to the mat. Just gently release.
And let the right foot come back down. Come back through that crocodile, hands stacked, forehead resting down. Deep breath to recenter. And then start to kick the left heel in towards the glute. Reach that left hand back and grab onto that left foot. Again, you're welcome to press yourself up onto the elbow. One side might be a little bit different than the other, so let that be okay. I definitely have a little bit more space on the other side. Again, start to gently release that left foot. Let it come back down to the mat. And we'll come back through that crocodile. Stack your hands. Let your forehead rest on stacked hands. And then just gently shimmy your hips side to side. You could also bend both knees and gently windshield wiper the feet side to side if that feels more supportive. And then let your legs extend back long again. We'll slide the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing the palms down into the mat. Hug your elbows in nice and close. Inhale, lift your head and your chest, just a little baby cobra. Exhale as you lower down. Inhale, lift baby cobra. Very little weight in those hands. Exhale and lower. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Maybe hover your hands off of your mat. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale up through a tabletop position. And exhale, let your hips go back to that child's pose, hips over heels, arms reach forward. You could choose if you want to use your blocks here or not. I'm opting not to at this point, as we really just kind of pull this practice together. We have a few more variations of our child's pose that we're going to introduce here. So, beautiful. Keep that left hand down. We're just going to take that right arm, slide it underneath the left, and let the right shoulder come back down. So we're in just a variation of a thread the needle, but where we're mostly still in this child's pose. This is not accessible. You are welcome to take more of a traditional thread the needle with the hips higher. Really sending that breath anywhere you might be feeling a nice stretch in your upper body. And then start to unwind. Come back through to that child's pose. A breath to reset. And then just lift yourself up enough that you can slide that left arm through, finding your thread the needle variation.
Come back through the center. Reset in that child's pose. And then walk both hands over towards the right side of your mat. So we get a nice side body stretch. Maybe you stack the left hand on top of the right. Walk the hands back through the center and over to the other side. Maybe right hand stacks on top of the left. And hands back through the center. Maybe palms of your hands come together. Maybe you want to bend at the elbows, bringing the thumb toward the back of the neck. All of this, just suggestions, things to try, variations within one posture. And release the hands back down. The forearms rest down so you're fully supported in this child's pose for a few more breaths. And slowly pressing yourself up. Meet me in a seated posture. Roots down, crown high. Inhale, sweep those arms out nice and wide, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Thank you so much for joining me. Om Shanti. Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me for this practice today. Hopefully you are feeling a little less stressed. We did some focusing on the hips. We did some focusing on the upper back and shoulders, and really try to think about letting some of our stress go. So hopefully now you are feeling more relaxed. You can take this and move into your evening and get a nice restful sleep. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please take a moment to do so. Your free daily practice calendar is in the link below or in the description below. And I will see you back on your mats for your next